Yeah, you read the thumbnail right. Trump just fixed something that Obama broke many years ago. So much for the Democrats saying that they're looking out for the American people. And most importantly, I love the way they say black, brown, and indigenous. Looks like this time Obama didn't really care about the indigenous. Let's see what I'm talking about. Here we go. Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. As I said in my opening, it looks like Donald Trump just signed an executive order in order to open up the waterways for American fishermen and indigenous people. Something that Obama put a block on, as you'll see in the video. I believe they said back in 2009 or 10, something like that, all the way up to 2014 or something to that effect. But what it did was take away an area where American companies, fishing companies, could go fishing. They said it was the size of 3 Californias. I believe it said 500,000 square miles of waterway. That, if anybody remembers, when Obama was president, he was actually closing off a lot of parks, recreational centers, forestry, land, waterways, and stuff like that, all in the name of preserving the climate, nature, what have you, but taking away at the same time from Americans. Okay, so now Donald Trump said, you know what? We're going to get to the bottom of this, and this is one way we're going to bring more money back into America and give Americans a little more freedom of land that rightly belongs to the American people, not the American government. Okay, we're going to get into that. But right quickly, I just want to thank everyone for the messages for me to get better. I had to go see the doctor again today, and I'm in a battle right now with the insurance company of the person who hit me with their vehicle, caused the accident. So it's going to be kind of a long process. I'm not happy about it. It seems like starting Monday, I have to do therapy 3 days a week now until the doctor sees fit. And on top of that, I don't have a vehicle. And it seems like that person's car insurance company basically wants me to fold and just give me pennies on the dollar. I mean, it's all a big mess. But I just want to say thank you to everyone for the heartfelt words and prayers. If you guys want to help out the channel, you can send donations through my Cash App and or buy a t-shirt. That'll help out a lot. But with all that being said, let's get to this so we can see what our great president of the United States, Donald Trump, just did today. Here we go.
These people are amazing people. Okay, why don't we start just by, we're going to be signing some executive orders.
Yes, sir.
And do you want to discuss it for a second, Will? And then we'll have a couple of the people speak. And it's my honor to help you. What they did to you is ridiculous.
I would agree.
How long has this been going on?
Well, there's a lot of this, but this one's been going on
Since 2008.
2008, yeah, and it just gets bigger and bigger.
And they basically took away your fishing rights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they cashed my tax check.
Was that Obama and Biden?
2014 was
Yeah.
when they expanded to do 500,000 square miles. Obama signed that in 2014.
Unreal.
It's so sad. It's so
Tiny
crazy.
one, and Obama.
It's too bad they won't pick it up properly. But it's so sad. Go ahead,
So,
Will.
as Peter said, sir, starting in 2009, continuing in 2014, a very large part of the American exclusive economic zone in the Pacific, amounting in total to 500,000 square miles of the American economic zone has been, exclusive economic zone has been held off limits to commercial fishing. We have a proclamation for your signature today, sir, that would reopen this area for commercial fishing by American flagged vessels only. This is a huge deal to the island populations in the Pacific. and we hope that this will lead to a new dawn for the American fishing industry in the Pacific Islands.
Could you, Captain, say a few words about how ridiculous this has been to get to live like this? American Samoa.
We operate out of American Samoa. We supply to Starkist, American company, does military packs, and it's our right. The U.S. has the biggest EEZ in the Pacific, and yet we can't fish there, and it seems unfair. And I'm glad that we're opening it up so that we can feed our people.
And tell them how large an area we're talking about.
The Pacific is big, but this is a huge area. Again, the U.S. has the biggest EEZ in the Pacific.
Free California.
It's an area,
and it's
3
shut off.
Californias.
It's an area the size of 3 Californias.
Unbelievable.
They can't fish there. And
what really bothers me, I'll play it real quick in a second, is that, Obama was doing deals like this just like Joe Biden doing deals like this, taking more and more away from Americans to prosper while telling us that we can't get certain jobs back, but then they'll go and force us to go and buy products from other countries. And everybody's so upset right now with Trump's tariffs. And it's like, we don't need to go and buy products from other countries. Is case in point right now with this part of the ocean. If we can fish here and supply Americans with fish from this part of our part of America, it'll bring down the cost of a lot of things, of a lot of seafood. And people just don't see it like that. Meanwhile, they complain that, we're doing that to save the environment. But look at China. Look at all of Asia. They have supposedly the biggest population, okay? But Chinese people eat a lot of seafood. They never complain that they're overfishing their part where they live at. It's always the Democrats and rhinos and the special interest groups that want to squeeze as much as they can and force Americans, okay, and others to basically go somewhere else and let that part or that country prosper economically while we bear the brunt of paying top dollar for everything else. Unbelievable.
so what do you do? How do you fish? They took away your livelihood.
Well, we fish in the high seas, and then we have to pay to fish in other
Now, the
people's
high seas
EEZs.
would mean more danger, right? Is there more danger in the high seas?
Not really. It's just
Far away.
it's a bigger area, and
So how far do you have to travel to get to fish?
the boat carries a lot of fish, so it goes until it's full, basically. But it's good to have plenty of fishing grounds.
To get out to where you have to go from 7 days?
It can be as close as 4 days, but it's a little bit of a jaunt, yeah. And
That's a little bit, I'd say.
fuel's not cheap, so
So you'll travel from 4 to 7 days
just to get to the fishing ground.
just to get to the area that you're
Unreal.
allowed to fish. And is that as fertile an area as the area that you're not allowed to fish in? Or?
Well, the Western Pacific in a whole is 80% of the world's tuna comes from the Western Pacific. So U.S. has a huge EEZ there. There's also the island countries, but it's a big area.
So they took away very fertile grounds.
Very fertile, yeah.
Wow, 80%.
This is so crazy. What would you like to say? Go ahead. Such an honor to do this for these people. This is just crazy. Just tell me, when did this start? When was it? When did
It started back in 2008. But thank you, Mr. President, for this great announcement, and thank you so much for your awesome leadership in giving back to American Samoa what had been taken away from us without even consulting with our leaders and people at that time.
There you go.
You mean they
And,
just one day just took away 3 Californias?
Yes. And so this is such a wonderful gift to American Samoa. And of course, it's also Holy Week beginning today. And so thank you for returning to our indigenous people this wonderful gift
There you go.
of our traditional fishing grounds.
It's such
So
an
if
honor to do this. Normally us had things and it's nice and everything's good. You get more water in the shower head and things like that. But this is such an honor. What they've done to you people is incredible. It's so terrible. Well, you have to travel 4 days in a boat to fish. And it's usually 7 days, I was told before, but 4 days to 7 days in order to fish. And you were there a long time before we were, right?
Yes. Yes,
Like-
for centuries.
Like I would
Centuries.
say, yeah, thousands of years.
Mr. President,
Please.
you have another fishery in the Pacific Ocean. This is the Persane fishery that fishes for canned tuna, and then the fishery in Hawaii fishes for fresh tuna. And so there are 150 vessels. And you're opening up Johnston Island, which is very close to Hawaii, makes it a lot easier for them to fish. Because of the
So even Hawaii's.
well, yes, of course. You're helping the entire fleet, and most of our fish are sold on the mainland. We also fish for swordfish, and when we have too many regulations for our swordfish fishery, you get swordfish from Peru, Brazil, and all those other places that don't have the same management measures that we have in the United States. So we are very grateful in Hawaii for this, the fishermen, and it's fantastic.
So what's the difference? You say canned tuna.
Right, you have two different U.S. fisheries there.
Yeah, but the same tuna.
Different. No, that's skipjack, albacore, and yellowfin. And then...
So albacore is canned tuna, right?
Right.
I know that from...
You've seen the can. So our fishery fishes for the sashimi quality fish. So it's all fresh. It's an ice fishery, and it's been around since it started in the early 1900s. And
Well, it's been around for millions of years.
right, exactly.
So let me just jump in real quick. So for all you people out there that love sushi like I do, especially all you how can I say, you leftist leaning vegetarian, not vegetarians. You people don't eat nothing. But to all you how can I say, to all you hoity-toity people out there that want to come out and say that, oh, you only live on, on the best sushi on the planet, and we get some imported stuff from Japan or whatever the case is. It's like we got it here on our side of the world, okay? Which means that if you're okay spending all this money on tuna and all that, because it's coming from China or Japan, and you want to spend top dollar, well, guess what? Trump just made it possible for now that those prices will go down. So now sushi is going to be even cheaper for pretty much, if not everybody, a lot more people to enjoy. How do you like that? Here we go.
Exactly.
Long before us.
Right, exactly.
That's great.
So, that's where you're getting your sashimi and your swordfish from. Most of the swordfish that you eat on the mainland comes from our fishery.
They shut down also areas off Maine, that, the Maine lobster.
Oh, yes, yes.
And I think we're going to have to open that one up
There
really
you go.
quickly, too. But we did it, and then after the election, which was totally rigged, they went out and they put it back again.
We'll have that for you next
It was
week.
like 500 square miles or some ridiculous thing like that. And Canada fishes there, but we're not allowed to. Can you imagine? They restricted it, but
Yeah.
Canada fishes there.
Restrict everything in
Please,
America.
Mr. President, this is such a great honor. Today in American Samoa, we're celebrating the 125th Flag Day. It's the first day celebrating when the U.S. flag was first raised there. At this very moment, they're celebrating that. So this is a monumental occasion for the people of American Samoa, and we are truly...
So this is a big thing that's
This is
going on right now.
because we're a tuna-dependent economy. 99.5% of our exports is tuna.
99.5%?
Yeah.
Well, what about the other half?
Pretty much.
And then about 80% of our private employment is related to the
That's
tuna industry.
unbelievable.
So yes, this is a big thing for the territory.
Yeah.
So one
what's-
industry economy.
Right, what's this going to do in terms? It's so interesting to me. It's so horrible and so stupid. It's so stupid. We're talking about a massive ocean, and they're forced to travel 4 to 7 days to go and fish in an area that's not as good and is probably a little more dangerous. The whole thing. So, what's this going to? How is this going to affect your business? It's going to be many more. I mean, you're going to be able to do much more business, I would think, right?
Yes, we would think that this will definitely result in more fish deliveries, and more fish deliveries is more economic gains for the territory.
Tell us
There you
what
go.
happens when you say China and other people steal your fish. In other words, you're forced to go to areas that are very dangerous.
Well, because of the monuments and overlays of sanctuaries, our fishermen mostly fish on the high seas. And if you look at Global Watch, you will see China, Japan, Korea, and Taiwan all fishing on our very edge of the 200-mile zone. So our fishing, we're in competition with them. And also, their dumping of their fish on U.S. markets lowers the price for our fishermen. And that's another difficult thing that we hope you'll take care of soon.
And what about
There
the
you go.
stealing of your fish?
Well, you're competing with tuna in a very competitive market, right? So they're camped right outside, like you said, they're camped right outside our EEZ.
And what happens?
And they're taking our fish because it's migratory. Tuna is migratory.
Because we
They
can't
don't-
fish in our zone, the fish goes to whoever.
And they come in the dead of night. Most
Yes, they
fish
do.
go out.
They come,
Nobody catches
they
them.
take
They
the
steal.
fish.
Yeah, that's a common, well-documented problem.
Does anybody, I mean, it's so interesting.
It's-
Even you have to find this one interesting.
Yes.
So by doing this, we're going to give you back your lives. And you've been doing this for thousands of years in this area. And then
Absolutely.
along comes Biden and Obama, and they say you can't do it anymore, right?
This is fish baby fish.
Yeah. So
There you go, fish, baby,
what's
fish.
the level of popular, and this is a risky question, but what's the level of popularity of Trump and Samoa versus the Democrats?
77%.
Ha!
For
Poll
Trump.
shows for Trump. Yes,
Huh?
that's right.
Look at that.
77%.
Early going to 90.
So for all you leftists out there that say that that the indigenous people don't love Trump, he's got a 77% vote with the Samoans. Okay, check that out. Who would have thought that? But meanwhile, let the left mainstream media say otherwise and make people believe, okay, that Trump is hated by all. Unbelievable.
Yes.
Go up to 100.
100. Well, it's an honor. I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because it's just an honor. Here's one of the boats in there. Look how beautiful that is down. They use it for a beautiful cruise to take 7 days before they can do the first fish. Can you believe it? So now you'll be able to do it like almost immediately, right?
We get much closer, absolutely. So if the fish is there, we can make more trips and deploy more people.
Do you know through sonar, radar, everything? Do you know where the fish are? I mean, can you see that?
You get educated guesses, so you get all kinds of different reports, plankton and all kinds of stuff, and they can.
It's a beautiful life. You wouldn't choose any other life, right?
It's a very unique life. I love what I do. I really do.
I mean, if you could have a life like some beautiful leisurely life in Washington, D.C.,
Yeah, right.
when you go to work, but other than that, you love politics. If you could live in the White House, you'd take exactly.
I might take it under consideration.
All right, let's do this, right? That's an honor. You've seen that signature, and I don't use auto pen.
Yeah.
Like Biden uses auto pen. I think
Wafa Afetai, Wafa Afetai, Wamani Mataebai, Watasilava Oi, Ilom Nefa Amoy Moy.
I don't know what that meant, but I'm assuming it's some sort of blessing song.
And what is the second word, please?
We have one more also relating to fisheries, sir. This is an executive order on seafood competitiveness. Currently, we have two basic problems here. One is that the American seafood industry is dramatically overregulated. Our fisheries are dramatically overregulated. The other is that we have unfair trade practices from our foreign trading partners relating to the seafood industry. So this executive order is going to attempt to address both of those. The Department of Commerce, other federal departments and agencies are going to work with the fisheries to establish common sense regulatory reforms.
How long will that take?
I think we're expecting to move as quickly as we can. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean, you know exactly what we're talking about already, right? It's crazy. The regulation.
It is.
Secretary Lutnick is going to fast track that, I can assure you.
Howard, please, go ahead.
Sure. So you just heard us, the economic zone around Hawaii and Samoa is huge, and it's exclusively ours. So why wouldn't we have our fishermen fish there? I mean, imagine saying our own fishermen, every country in the world, they all fish the 200 miles off their coast, and we were stopping our own fishermen from going off the coast. It's totally the opposite of common sense. That's why President Trump has changed it. Now let's talk about regulation. If you're not even going to let them fish, imagine the regulations that have been written to stop our fishermen from just surviving and thriving. We have the greatest coasts in the world with the greatest fishermen in the world, and we need to let them do their great jobs, raise and capture fish, bring them to our tables, have America have the greatest fish in the world, which we have, and then let them export all these other countries right? They stop us from exporting. That's going to be over with your leadership and your trading policies. We're going to open all of these markets, and we're going to let our fishermen thrive and prosper, and we are going to have lower cost fish,
There you go.
more of it, and the freshest fish in the world. And this is just common sense for the United States of America.
There you
So
go.
could I ask, it's so interesting. So
I love it.
You take these massive areas of water, and other countries are allowed to fish in them, right?
No, they sneak in, they poach. They
So
come
they're not
in,
allowed, but they do it because they don't care.
They fish in their own zones, sir.
Yeah.
So we're systematically disadvantaging our fishermen by not allowing them to fish in parts of our exclusive economic zone, while other countries have their own exclusive economic zones, and they're fishing the heck out of those.
So they're totally benefiting.
Now that you're allowing the U.S. fishing fleet to fish, they also serve as observers. And when they see poachers, they report them
There
to
you
the
go.
authorities. And so they are a big help to the U.S. Coast Guard.
Right.
And so it's great for our U.S. food security.
I mean, we should have a trade surplus in fish, and we have a big trade deficit.
Crazy.
Because of all this. It's just crazy. Nothing
Okay.
familiar.
This is an easy one.
Very easy.
Hi, Mom. This is an easy one. This is crazy, huh?
Well, 80% of the seafood in the U.S. is imported.
Can you imagine
Wow.
that? We import seafood, and we have the greatest coast
So
of
what?
fishing in the
Okay,
world.
so in Maine they do something similar. I think it's like 500 miles or something, some crazy thing. And Canada goes and they fish there. Other people fish there. Europe fishes there. The Maine lobster. You can't get Maine lobsters because Maine's forced to go for days out to some other area that's not as good. We have to free that up too.
We'll have that on your desk next week, I promise.
There you go.
The Maine lobster, right? It's incredible.
You did it
Think
last
of it.
time, and they undid it.
Canada fishes there.
Biden undid
No, we're
it.
not allowed to. Yeah, I did it last time in Maine, and they undid it. That's why we have to stay president for a long time.
There you go.
Thank you, everybody. What an honor. It's a great honor.
I'll leave it at that, people. But there you go, people. You know, I mean, it just makes common sense. You know, Biden and Obama, all they did was put all these regulations, and this is all new because I really didn't know about this. But you know, when it came to regulations on fuel, it was always a problem because they're trying to save the planet. They put regulations on the car industry. I mean, they put regulations on building permits, on all kinds of things. Okay, in the parks, the waterways, national parks, you name it, everything was a damn regulation against Americans. And now the fishing industry. And to say that we're getting that we're getting 80% of our fish products from overseas, it's like why do we have to pay 80%? You know, why do we have to pay to import 80% of fish products when we could do it here? Okay, and produce more jobs, and more jobs bring more money into the economy, have people regulate it better, instead of waiting for something that's caught overseas and it gets here in 2 or 3 or 4 days. You know, the Democrats never make common sense. All they do is make these backroom deals that benefit other countries, other economies, except the Americans. And yet they say that they're trying to save America and they're on the right side of history. But thank God that once again somebody brought it to Trump's ear, brought it to his attention and said, you know what, you got to get rid of these things so like that we can get our livelihoods back. And he's doing it. And for all you people out there, all you naysayers, you're going to keep lying and lying and lying. And I know that the mainstream media and all these left-wing outlets on social media, whatever the case is, they're going to nitpick and try to find and squeeze in a lie in all of this. I guarantee you. They're going to say that there's some little barnacle that's in danger. That's why Obama stopped it. And what Trump is doing now is going to affect the global stage. Is going to add to global warming, or it's going to mess up the ecosystem, or whatever the case is. That's all they ever do. But yet they rather have us suffer, okay, Americans, their own, just to help other countries and their economy prosper. It's ridiculous, but you know what? I'm so glad he passed this. This is really good for America. It's really good for the Samoans. It's good for all the islands out there that are part of America. on just so many levels, man. And it's a good thing. And you know, you can go to Dollar Tree and just get a can of tuna for $1 from, what is it, Clover Valley or whatever it is. I'm not trying to knock them, but people are paying what, $2 a can, a little over $2 a can just for regular Star-Kissed tuna or Bumblebee tuna at the market. This means that now that can is going to go down to $1. And if that goes down to $1, even $1.50, that means that the canned tuna at Dollar General is going to go down to what, 50 cents, 75 cents? I mean, it just makes perfect sense. Bring the cost down of products, okay? Especially when it comes to food. That's like one of the main things we all need is food. Whether it's just regular canned tuna or you want to have your sushi. I think I speak for, if not a lot of people, everyone, that I would like to pay cheaper prices for the foods that I like. And if anybody disagrees with that, then you know what? You just have a problem. You must be rich and you must be very hateful. That's just the way I see it. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. So remember, people, stay vigilant. Keep praying for each other. Keep praying for the women and the children. Pray for this country. Pray for your enemies. Pray for Donald Trump. And don't forget to pray for all the missing children that they brought across the border. Peace.